What's good, everyone? My name is Dr. Nee with Docs Outside the Box, and before we get into this episode, I want to do a quick commemoration of Juneteenth with a brief history. On June 1st, 1863, President Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, in essence promising freedom to those enslaved in all of the states of the Confederacy, including Texas. It took over 2 years for that message to get to those enslaved in Texas. And on June 19th, 1865, that message made it to those in Texas when it was delivered via a Union general who arrived in Galveston, Texas. Since then, Juneteenth has been considered one of the longest African-American holidays, and to many is considered the second Independence Day. Now, I can't unpack everything that's related to that in this intro or in future episodes. So what I did is I included a link in the show notes that I encourage you all to take a look at. And without further ado, let's get on with this episode. 2 episodes ago, we were talking about if I'm dating someone for a year, how do I bring up that I might be leaving after year 4? We have put this out on social media in the comments. Actually, I encourage people to talk about their plans on date 2.
Okay.
On date 2.
Okay, so I'm...
Hold on. Then someone puts facts. Fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji. Please, from day 1, ask questions. What? By day 2, we trying to figure out, yo, are you going to pay? Shouldn't you pay half? And now I'm telling you about my plans? No! This episode is brought to you by Set for Life Insurance. Listen, docs, one of the first steps we took to pay off our student loan debt was realizing we paid way too much for our disability insurance. That all changed when we found Set for Life Insurance. They helped us with a customized insurance policy that met our needs and, most of all, budget. To learn more, check out setforlifeinsurance.com. Have you heard of the Healthy Conversations podcast? If you're looking for a podcast that moves the health conversation forward, then I highly recommend Healthy Conversations, the acclaimed podcast from CVS Health. Hosted by Dr. Daniel Kraft, the Harvard and Stanford trained physician scientist, Healthy Conversations provides both inspiration and cutting-edge information about the forefront of medical practice. You can find it wherever you're listening to Docs Outside the Box, and don't forget to subscribe. And to make it easier, the link is in the show notes. Yo, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Docs Outside the Box. I'm your host, Dr. Nee. I'm joined by...
Dr. Renee.
I think you have to dead that because it's getting kind of corny now. I think it's getting kind of corny. Everybody
But
who's
you think
listening,
everything that I do is
everybody
corny.
who's listening.
You think everything that I do is corny. So I don't do it for you. I do it for me. I do it for the people. I do it for the children.
That's your benevolence right there.
That's right. I do it
because I feel like you're kind of running out of like.
Oh, I can do more.
Okay.
Come on.
That's fine. I can edit it out. But anyway, listen, let's jump into this. What's good, everybody? Folks on YouTube, welcome to this episode. I appreciate y'all watching on YouTube.
Subscribe.
Make sure you smash the subscribe and like button on this episode. And if you're listening, we love you. You're our day ones. We always appreciate you. But also, consider checking us out on YouTube. Yeah, we got a really dope experience there also. Alfred, our ace, our amazing videographer.
Video editor.
Oh, he's not video. That's true. Yeah, video editor. I'm the ographer because I'm the one with the video, but he does an amazing job of editing our stuff.
Yeah.
And we got to move, yo. Outside looks like Saudi Arabia outside, guys. So we are recording this on June 7th, 2023, and we are in the Northeast. We're in Jersey, and we are under what's called a red flag. What is it, a red flag alert or something like that? Or basically, I guess there's a bunch of fires that are coming from Canada that are just blowing downwind down here to the New York, New Jersey, tri-state area.
Down south.
And everything here, like the air quality it's just crazy. It feels like we're in a dust bowl.
Yeah.
But other than that.
It's like a brown haze outside.
Yes.
It literally looks brown outside.
And if you're asthmatic, that's a problem.
Inside.
It's a problem.
Stay inside, get your air purifiers.
But by the time they hear this episode, like
hopefully it will have
it'll be gone.
Hopefully.
It'll be gone.
But yes. So what are we talking about today?
All right, so what we talking about today is actually this episode is about us kind of doing like a little bit of an introspection based off of what has been going on literally in pop culture. So let's start it off by the first one is Dave Ramsey being sued for $150 million.
Hey.
So, folks, I'm going to be really honest with you. Dave Ramsey, if you go to Yahoo Finance, the link will be in the show notes. But, Alfred, put this up on the screen if you can. Dave Ramsey faces a $150 million suit for promoting company accused of fraud. Dave Ramsey, a Christian radio host and personal finance guru, faces a $150 million lawsuit filed by some listeners of his show who allege they were defrauded by a timeshare exit company that advertised on his program. The issue specifically is if you go to the documents that were filed in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Washington back in April, it claims that Ramsey received more than $30 million between 2015 and 2021 to promote timeshare exit team on the Ramsey show.
Okay.
Basically, what people are saying is that, there's a bunch of deceptive, false, and incomplete information by the company, and people are going after Dave Ramsey because he gave them a platform, and also he was receiving a cut from this.
Okay.
So they're saying that he's kind of responsible for this also. Right?
That's a slippery slope right there.
Before we go into the next one, real quick, this one is far from at the point where somebody's going to be sued. But DJ Envy, popular radio personality host here in New York and New Jersey and Connecticut, The Breakfast Club. Actually, that's a nationally syndicated show.
Yeah.
But
They're
DJ
on BET
Envy
now.
They're on BET?
I believe so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Well,
I'll double check.
If he gets sued, he's got the money.
But does BET?
So DJ Envy and business partner deny scamming real estate clients out of millions. Long story short, DJ Envy, popular radio show personality, teamed up with his business partner Cesar Piña back in 2008, and together they've been rehabbing properties and basically flipping.
Right.
And legally and making a lot of money. But lately,
we think legally.
Sure,
least.
we don't know.
Right, we don't know that.
But starting in 2018, Mr. Piña started appearing on The Breakfast Club, and they created a course and they created some other opportunities for people who are listening to the show to get educated on, the techniques that they use to get properties, renovate properties, and then sell them. Also opportunities to invest with Mr. Piña directly. And lo and behold, there's some people who are like, yo, I gave you money, and he hasn't been calling me back.
Uh-oh.
And we want our money.
Now, that's a problem.
That's a problem. So people collectively are like, all right, DJ Envy, you had this guy on your show, this nationally syndicated show. Millions of people listen to this show. You may not be the person that we gave the money to. You may not even be getting a cut of this stuff. But because you had this person on your platform, you possibly might be responsible for this.
These are slippery slopes.
These are very slippery slopes. So, the reason I bring this up is not specifically to talk about the specifics of Dave Ramsey as well as DJ Envy, but let's be honest, the way how podcast advertising works, the way how influencer advertising works, the way how YouTube works, and to some extent, you have a platform we have a platform as podcasters.
Yes.
Right? And no matter how you look at it, we have a platform that we have to be very responsible for. We've had guests come on the show. We've also had companies come on the show. They come and they talk about certain things and so forth. When an individual does it and talks about certain things, for example, we went on Farnoosh Torabi's show. We went on other people's show talking about how we paid off $662,000 student loan debt. How can you verify that? Nobody verified that with us. Right? It's not like Forbes magazine. When you go on Forbes magazine, they determine that someone's a billionaire. Before they get in the magazine, they have to go through and scrutinize all of that person's investments, and then they say, you are a billionaire. You're going to be on our on our magazine and or the website and go from there.
Right.
That didn't occur with us.
No.
We just told people, hey, in 3 years we paid it off. We could have been lying. We're not lying. But
We're not lying. Embellished.
We could have embellished, right? But we did not. But also at the same time, you start to think about it, it's individuals can go into podcast land and start saying whatever. And how much space is there for some type of evaluation to prove, to verify this information, right? That's just on an individual basis. Now you throw on top of that working with companies, right? And if the company doesn't come through, but they sponsor your show,
are you responsible?
Whether or not you get a cut or not, Are you responsible?
Well,
Are we responsible?
Whether cut or whatever, right? Either way, you're always getting some money from the sponsor, right? Like, so it may not be a cut of whatever. It could just be a flat fee, but it's a cut of the company's earnings, right? Otherwise, you just wouldn't get paid, right? So it doesn't need to be necessarily a cut of each individual interaction. It's just going to be a cut of the company's earnings, right?
Yep.
So either way, I think it's a slippery slope because that would mean that anybody at any time who sponsor or who takes sponsors for a show, including networks, including PBS, right? Like nonprofits, include anybody basically is now responsible because the company didn't do their job. I don't know.
Well, I agree with you. I do think this is a slippery slope. Is there a different, like, for example, if you go to like ABC or CBS or what have you, it's just an advertisement, right? Like they're not having, like the headlining show for any network usually is like its news show, right? So it's not like you're having, like, for example, let's say Tesla wants to start advertising on ABC. It's not like they have Elon Musk come on and do like a sponsored episode. What do you think?
Absolutely not true. Today's Show, Good Morning America, Good Day New York. These are news shows.
Correct.
And what do? They bring people on to do segments. And they do these segments.
But not with the premise of selling anything. They're just coming on to get interviewed, right? Oh, yeah, we see your stocks are blah, blah, blah. So basically anybody that you interview on the show.
I get that. But here's again why I say it's a slippery slope. Because
it's not like, let's say Elon Musk or whoever appears on Good Morning America. It's not like he's coming on saying, yeah, I think you guys should buy my car because this, and check out this, hold on, and check out this deal, and it's Oktoberfest, and blah, 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 buy this now. And then the host says, well, there you go, guys. If you want to check out Tesla Motors, check it out, or blah, blah. They're not doing that. They're just asking him like, yo, like, why did you name your child this? Or why'd you mess up Twitter? Or, all these different things. It's a straight interview.
I'm going to say, again, a slippery slope because, all right, let's take,
I think you agree with me. I think we're in agreement. I don't know where you saying.
No, I'm just saying, I agree with you in that, that the platform isn't necessarily responsible. But where I'm kind of disagreeing with you is that I do believe that those shows do in some way, shape, or form, indirectly, okay, do bring people on to promote themselves, right? So I was on Good Morning America, right? And I was on as part of a feature of a young lady who has an Apps Without Code platform, right?
She's gotta be young. She's a lady.
Oh, okay, lady. Fine. She's younger than me, so she's a young lady. Anyway, whatever. So she has an Apps Without Code course.
Okay, Miss Academic Obstetrician. Like, there's just certain things that are just not necessary.
Anywho, I mean, to say somebody's young or versus they're old, like that, there's a huge difference in that.
So what I'm saying is you don't need the modifier. Just say it's a lady.
Why? What if she's old?
I would just say she's a lady.
What if she's young?
I would just say she's a lady.
Okay. Anyway, this young lady has an Apps Without Code course, and the course was named, right? The course was named in the segment, right? And so it isn't necessarily the same. I agree with you to be like, oh, go and join this course, go buy this course right now. But you're showcasing this person, not to showcase, that it just exists. You're showcasing it to show how good it has worked for other people. And what is advertising but showing you, hey, if you have a problem, we've got a solution. That's what advertising is. If you have a problem, here's the solution. Now it's up to you to go out and get it.
So that happened to Oprah, actually, right? Remember several years ago, I think like maybe 20 years ago, when Oprah had the book club. So there was this book that someone wrote. Oprah had this guy on the book club, and once you as an author, you get on Oprah's book club, like you are stamped for approval, you are going to the bestsellers list, all these different things. Well, lo and behold, they find out that a significant portion of what he wrote about in the book was a lie. She had him back on the show, I think weeks later, and she grilled the hell out of him. Like, yo, like A, B, C, D, why'd you lie about this? Why did this? I had you on this, da, 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 da. You know, like she recognized that this was her platform. She, you know, backed this guy and possibly realized that, yo, I could be liable for any type of issues that occur from this.
Maybe.
Let me have you back on the show and kind of grill you.
I mean, maybe, but I would venture to say that would be a losing battle. But then again, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a judge, I'm not a whatever. But I will tell you that...
Real quick, they're saying this, so the timeshare company charged between $4,000 and $72,000 for illusory services.
Okay, all right.
According to the complaint.
Hold on, I got a soapbox just for a second. Okay? People who bought timeshares, I just want to get this straight. People who bought timeshares are angry at Dave Ramsey that they got duped by a company that said that they would get rid of the timeshares. You should have been upset when you got into the timeshare because that's when you got duped. Hello? Like, come on. Come on. Like,
Renee, are you judging?
Come on. Yes, I'm judging.
We talked about
I'm
we talked about you judging
If you
people.
bought a timeshare, I'm judging you. I don't care.
Renee and Judge Judy are like this.
Okay.
Yo. I'm telling you.
Get out of here. Yo, I'm sorry. People who bought a timeshare.
All right, so you're saying because you did something...
they putting good money after bad money.
Hold on a second.
Stop.
So if you did something stupid in your past and you wanted to clarify, you wanted to fix it up, then... You know.
Listen, if you bought a timeshare...
So, for example, let's say you got caught for speeding.
I can't be too shocked that you got duped by a company that said that they would get you out of your timeshare. I mean, you bought a timeshare. What do I expect from you?
So if you got a ticket for speeding, right?
That's not the same thing.
Yes, it is. Because listen to what I'm saying. If you got a ticket for speeding and then you go to a lawyer and there's plenty of lawyers, you'll probably get a bunch of letters in the mail from lawyers who say, hey, if you retain my services, I can go to court for you and make sure that you don't get points for this.
Okay.
Right? Which is a big deal because that's going to affect...
Okay. Now what?
So you go... Well, what do you mean? Who you rushing?
You.
No, you don't rush me. Right? So you go to the lawyer and the lawyer says that, you know, they can get points taken off and you pay me a certain amount of money. But if they don't provide said services, you're saying that you should have known, or that's your fault that the lawyer wasn't able to do those principles because you did the first act was stupid?
No, I'm saying the expectation that I have for someone who bought a timeshare to then have the good judgment to not actually engage themselves with a company who promised to get them out of a timeshare, that expectation is extremely low. If you bought a timeshare, then you were a sucker to begin with. So chances are you were going to be a sucker to fall into, hey, I'm going to get out of this timeshare with the help of this company. I'm sorry. You bought a timeshare.
You're judging.
I am judging.
The rest of this says the complaint also alleges Ramsey promoted quote-unquote deceptive, false, and incomplete information, end quote, in violation of consumer protection laws while personally earning $450,000 a month from the deal.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. If he knew, then yes, this is a problem.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think if you know...
Right? If you know, this is a problem.
Wholeheartedly. If it could be proved... The question, though, is how do you prove if you know or if you don't know? And is that necessary?
Yes, it's absolutely necessary, right? Because then that means that you brought somebody on your platform intentionally to dupe your audience, right?
But if you don't know and you didn't do the work to hold on, and if you didn't do the work to verify, aren't you liable for negligence?
I don't think so.
Should you be liable?
I don't think so. Yeah, I'm saying should you? Are you? I don't know. Yeah. But I don't think you should be.
Because this is important, right? Like, we have people come on the show. Like, we have companies come on the show. Now, for y'all who don't know, we would have way more sponsors on this show if it wasn't for me and Renee kind of just being like,
y'all be hooked up to a hydrogen tank. Talking about, look at how clear my skin is. That's what be happening right now. Like, ooh, let me hook myself up to this hydrogen tank.
So many
companies.
You
see how clear my skin is now? You see how much weight I lost? I've been on Kanye's workout plan.
All right, we get the points. But there's so many companies that have contacted us who want to sponsor the show, and we're just like, nope, Nope. You know how many vitamin companies, pharmaceutical companies have contacted? Like, we're not putting this on the show. Get out of here.
Yeah.
I know some people like think that we inundate them, but listen, like, we got to keep the lights on in some form or fashion. So work with us. But come on. Like, so even like to have someone on the show, like, we have vetted. You know, you can't be 100% sure, but we can pretty much say that the reason that we have people on the show or have companies on the show is mainly because we feel like that service or services like that can help, right? Can help you in that type of situation. So,
but see, so I'm gonna shift a little bit if that's okay, because
I'll allow it.
because where I think this is relevant in medicine is, see, so DJ Envy is basically co-signing, Dave Ramsey is basically co-signing these companies, right? And where this is relevant, I think...
I swear, if you take this, because every example that you have always has to do with pre-meds. If you bring this back to pre-med, I'm cutting it. Go ahead.
You ready? Because it's going to pre-meds.
Yo, can you talk about something outside of pre-meds as an example?
No, I can't.
No, for real. Like,
I got my pre-meds out there, and they need me. And I'm using this platform.
All right, go ahead.
And I hope you vetted me.
Go ahead.
But no, where this is relevant is that as physicians, we co-sign, if you will, pre-meds and medical students as well as residents, right? We basically give them our letters of recommendation or letters of reference. And so the question becomes like, okay, if you don't know somebody very, very well, can you actually write them a really good letter of reference? Now, I'm going to tell you, there have been times when I've had somebody, medical students or pre-med, has asked me, can you write me a letter of reference? And I've had to decline because I'm like, I don't know you like that. I really don't know you like that.
I'll take it a step further. When you're trying to get, if you're trying to get a medical license, or if you know someone who's trying to get, credentialed at a hospital,
right,
was one of the number one things they asked for.
Right, a letter of reference.
They asked for a letter of reference. And there's certain questions that they asked, and I'm like, yo, I know dude, but I don't know dude. Like,
right.
They'll ask, like, does this person have any, do you know of any times when this person has had a malpractice suit? Like, how are you supposed to know that?
Right.
Do you knowingly know if this person's had any psychiatric illnesses or any other type of thing?
I don't know.
How am I supposed to know this?
I don't know.
And you have to, and it's a yes or no type thing. And it's just like, but why are you asking this if I can't definitively give you an answer about this?
Right.
Right? But in essence, you're co-signing for somebody that, yo, I don't know what you do outside of, to be honest with you, I don't know what you do while we're working together during that one period.
Exactly.
Like, if we're operating together for 2 or 3 hours, I don't know what happens when you go to the call room or wherever you go home. Like, how am I responsible for that? But that's a cosign too.
Right, but that's a cosign, right? That's a cosign that can quickly get you canceled by, whomever you referred this person to.
Cosign to cancel.
Okay.
Should we call this episode that?
So you could literally get canceled by the person that you referred them to. Oftentimes, I tell people, like, be careful of who you refer somebody to, because that's your name.
Well, a lot of people too, in your realm, there's a lot of people who do drive-by recommendations.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is that you got to be really, really careful. And for these pre-meds, medical students, and pretty much anywhere you are in your training, this is why we say, networking is key. People think that, networking is to get you in the door. I'm like, okay, but how you think you getting in the door? People got to know you. People have to be able to co-sign you. People have to be able to refer you. So don't think that you're going to come and shadow me one day and be like, okay, can you give me a little reference?
That's you.
I know that. But a lot of doctors do that.
Yes, so after like a day or two. Like, there's been times where
I've done that once before, and I said I'll never do it again.
I've had medical students who've worked with me, and me, like, we both do, as locum. So we could be in one week and out.
Gone the next.
So I've worked with people, particularly pre-meds, actually I haven't worked with pre-meds, but I've worked with medical students who I have interacted with for about 24 to 48 hours. And they say, hey, it was good for you, right? It was good for me also, right? Can you write me this letter of recommendation? If you get that out of here, I'm not writing no damn letter. I say no. I'm like, I can't, dude, I only know you for 48 hours. I don't know you like that.
Nope. And that is that is the importance of
And the other thing is you know that you only know me for 48 hours.
Right.
Why are you asking me for a letter of recommendation?
That's the importance of networking. That's the importance of, making sure that you keep relationships with people. And for me, at this point, I'm like, if you're not willing to do the work that it takes to be able to network with me, to, maintain this mentoring relationship or at least this working relationship with me, then why are you asking me to put in the work to now figure out how I'm going to write you this stellar letter to basically say that you're the best thing since sliced bread? That's a lot of work for me to do because, dude, I don't know you like that.
All right. So what are we saying? Are we saying because obviously our opinion.
Start over.
Guys, this weather is getting to me. This air quality issue.
You coughing like crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Can we sue Canada?
We might have to sue Canada. That's a good one. Give me 5 on that one. That's a good one.
No 5. There will be no 5s given.
You know what? The audience, the YouTube audience, give me 5. Thank you. Boom. So look, what we saying here? Because obviously what we say has no bearing on if, but he's obviously going to be held liable in some. Well, excuse me.
No, we don't know that.
This has already been filed in court. Now the question now is what's going to happen? Is
he going to be held responsible? And the reality is, if he is, then that really sets up a very interesting future.
Well, that's the problem because Dave Ramsey has a lot of listeners.
Yeah. Audio,
video. He has, conferences. He has all of these different things. I'll be very honest with you. Remember, we used them initially. We listened to him initially.
We listened.
And I think a lot of the steps that he talks about, we jived with, right?
Yeah, some of the steps.
And it's just the steps. But there's some of the religious stuff, I'm just like, you can miss me with that. I'm just not into any of that stuff. But, man, you need to turn your phone off. But
it is off. It's on Do Not Disturb.
Okay. But, the religious stuff, we don't, you keep that over there. But the financial information, I think definitely we can benefit from and so forth. And then shortly afterwards, we kind of moved away from Dave Ramsey and we kind of found our own kind of group of people that kind of speak to us, so to speak. Well,
I think we did. I think we had a number of people that we were following during that time that we were doing our debt payoff. He was one of them. Farnoosh was definitely one. His and Her Money, they were, down with it also. We were also kind of in that early stage of Periscope with Tifta Budgetnista and all of those people. So there were a number of people. Sandy, remember, Yes, I Am Cheap.
Right. So, but the point is, he got a lot of people who still follow him.
Oh, of course.
And his show is at least in the top 5 of top podcasters out there.
Yeah,
streamed and all those different things. So, there's a lot of things that he's pushing that, I'm not sure if they're up to par. Like, for example, I remember we talked with one of their financial advisors initially, or at least I did. I had a preliminary talk with one of their financial advisors.
Okay.
And one of the things that they said, I can't remember specifically what they said, but I'll just leave it to you like this. I wasn't impressed. It just kind of felt like an assembly line type thing. And it was just like you would leave an email on the website saying that you need a certain service. Someone will contact you within 24 hours, which they did. And then after the discussion, I'm talking about the services that they offer and I'm asking specific questions, and I was not very impressed. Okay. So that's the thing that I think ultimately, and let's end this so we can move on to our next segment. But that's the thing that I think is very important is you have a platform. It's very important to protect that platform, whether it's a podcast or it's just you as a physician or even a medical student, because there's medical students who will write letters of recommendation for pre-med students also, right? So this rolls downhill is that, look, you have to vet people. You have to take the time to spend time with people to really get to understand, how they move before you co-sign, in essence, what happens. Obviously, if this person, this pre-med student or this medical student or even a resident does something in the future, you can't be, held liable for that. But in essence, you are co-signing this person.
That's right.
It's very important to make sure you do the due diligence for that.
The risk you take. So
whether you podcasting, whether you're on YouTube, whether you just doctoring. Any more thoughts on that?
Nope.
And if you talk about pre-meds again,
I'm going to talk about pre-meds again. Like, that's just what I do. That's who I be.
Hey, you need to do something with your phone.
That's who I is.
And while you're doing something on your phone, Alfred, y'all, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Hold up. Before we continue, to all my day ones, and you know each and every one of you who you are, thank you for rolling with the show from jump. And to the new listeners, welcome. What's good? Where y'all been? I want y'all to stay a while. All right. So look, I'm trying to build a community here and I need your help. So with whatever app you're listening to this show right now, I want you to click the subscribe button. Then I want you to go over to Apple Podcasts and I want you to rate and review the show. And you may be asking, how does this help? The way how it helps is by helping the show to grow and rise up in the rankings so that it's easier for new people to discover the show. Now, what's in it for you is at least once a week, I'm going to be going through these reviews. I'm going to pick a lucky reviewer and I'm going to give that person an opportunity to have a 15-minute session with me where we could talk about anything from personal finance, getting your money right, to just shooting the you-know-what about the show. So listen, remember, all I need you to do is subscribe and then rate and review this show on Apple Podcasts. Let's get on with the episode. Peace. What's up, y'all? We are back. Now, we're going to talk about something that I thought I'd never see in a Wall Street Journal. Here's an article that I did not prep you for before we started recording.
Okay.
This is in a Wall Street Journal. This came out yesterday, actually. Someone put this up on me on a group chat, and it's the Wall Street Journal. It says, burned out doctors turn to temp work. A growing group of physicians are ditching medicine's traditional career path and hitting the road as temporary doctors for hire.
Okay, hold on a second. When was this written?
June 6, 2023.
They about like 10 years too late on this.
Doctors once turned to part-time work mostly as a transition into retirement. Overloaded and burned out, many in their working prime are now building entire careers as temporary physicians for hire. I'm going to skip through some of this stuff. About 50,000 doctors, or 7% of U.S. physician workforce, not including FMGs, now practice medicine via temporary assignments, according to the med staffing company CHG Healthcare. That is a nearly 90% increase from 2015. I think those numbers are low. I think there's more to that. Like travel nurses, many of these doctors are tapping into booming demand for their services, especially at labor-starved community hospitals around the U.S. Primary care doctors are the most sought after doctors. So are specialists such as cardiologists, pulmonologists, surgeons, and oncologists. They go into a little bit of some specific people profiles, which we'll skip. But the fact that you see this in the Wall Street Journal.
They like 10 years too late. Wall Street Journal.
So here's my initial thoughts.
This is not new news.
I think a lot of people will be shocked to find out that their doctor is, in essence, participating in gig work. Because this is what it is, right? Like, we talk about gig work, like the gig economy, like someone, I'm going to work for Uber, or I'm going to work for TaskRabbit, or I'm going to work for what have you.
Right.
Basically, this is the same thing, right? Like, we are gig workers.
We are the thumbtack of doctors.
But I don't have a problem with that. The problem is, though, or the issue is, or my concern is, if this number gets to 10%, 15%, 20%, which I think it will, the question is how long will it take to get to that point? Is the public going to have a problem with that? That, you know what? That cardiologist that took care of me, he's not here, he won't be here next month, right?
Okay.
Or he won't be here until, however long being. Or with that surgeon who did my initial operation, he's never coming back. How do I feel about that, right?
So
right or wrong, they are going to have that thought process.
Okay.
So that's something I think is really interesting.
But if the public does have a problem with it, what are you saying would change, or what could happen?
What I'm saying is, will there be a negative sentiment to the fact?
There's already negative sentiment about doctors. There's already negative sentiment about doctors. Will there be a negative sentiment?
But I think most people don't think of their doctors as being transitory, right?
No.
So will that end up being an issue? So, for example, right, it's like saying doctors unionizing, right?
Okay.
Like, there's obviously a backlash with doctors unionizing, right? It's
from whom? From doctors.
Yo, you good?
Yeah.
Okay, it's from doctors, but it's mainly based on the perception of what the public will think about them striking. You can roll your eyes, but it exists, right? So does it or does it not exist?
Listen, doctors.
Hold on.
I'm
Does
saying
it or does it not exist?
I'm saying it does, but I'm
Right.
saying this
Hold on.
is
Let me-
selective
let me fin-
outrage
let me
on the
finish
part
my
of
point.
doctors.
Let me finish my point. Like, I think we have to set a certain baseline and stuff,
Okay,
right?
okay.
Like that exists, and that's an issue, and that affects people's behavior, right? So the same thing I think could occur with people when the public finds out that, hey, man, my doctor may be transitory. I didn't say it's right. I didn't say it's wrong. I'm just saying that that is a strong possibility.
I understand that, but what does the public thinking that? What impact could that actually have? Is what I'm asking, right? Like, the public thinks that. It's like,
as we've learned over the last 20, 30, 40, what the public thinks about certain things has no bearing on what happens in healthcare.
Exactly. That's my whole point, right? So
Unless it has something to do with the term HMO.
Well,
which so many companies have been like, yeah, we don't use HMO in our...
Yeah.
Because people just hate the term
yeah, but
HMO.
they still do it, right? Like, you just don't call it that.
Yeah, they don't do it.
Exactly. So that's what I'm getting at, right?
What you getting at?
So you said me and Judge Judy are like this. You know one thing that she always says? I don't care how you feel. That's what she usually says, right? I don't care how you feel. She cares what you do, right? And that's the thing, right? Medicine doesn't actually care about what patients feel, and which is unfortunate, but medicine doesn't care about what people feel.
Before you finish
it cares
your point,
about what they do. So
I see how it is. So there's a guy's name in this article. I'm like, so you can make time to be in this article, but you can't make time to be on our show? Got you. Let's move on now.
That's because he was being in the article. That's why he didn't have time to be on the show. Mm-hmm. No, but so first of all, I was laughing because I feel like that trend has literally been 10 or more years in the making, right? And I feel like that, the Wall Street Journal is just picking up on this. I don't know if they've ever talked about this before, but I feel like this article literally is 10 years too late. This is, the locums move, the temporary move, the independent contracting move, I think has been one that doctors have been moving towards for a long period of time. And yeah, I think part of it is burnout. I think part of it is the loss of autonomy of physicians, the ability to make our own schedules. Like, all of these things are pushing doctors to do things that traditionally we never did before as an industry, as a profession. And I think it's a good thing. But the last thing that I'll say about this, I don't know if it's actually the last, but the next thing I'll say about this, the next thing that I'll say about this, we can
always edit things out.
Anyway,
we can always edit things out.
The next thing I'll say about this is every time we talk about doing locums and whether or not this is a lifestyle that can be sustainable or whatever, we always get a lot of pushback from physicians. We get so much pushback from physicians that most physicians that we talk to about locums say they can't do it. They can't do, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. But this is showing you that it is very possible to do, and that actually the
ball is moving.
Exactly, the ball is moving.
For those who are thinking that they can't do it, or for those who are not interested in it because they think that it's a fad, I'm telling you right now, that snowball is getting bigger and bigger. If the Wall Street Journal is recognizing this,
right,
trust me, other big news organizations, they will start to pick up on this. And
right, it might not matter what the public thinks, but it will matter what doctors think, right? In terms of, you know what, I got too much burnout, I'm out. And, I'm just going to contract myself. If you get enough doctors doing that, then the tide will change where now, or not now, eventually, will there be more contracted doctors than there are employed doctors?
Yeah, it's going to take a long time to get to that point.
Well, of course. I'll probably be dead by then.
So real quick, because you are 60.
Get out. Who's 60, me?
All right, so there's a link in here in this article. It says gig work. If you click on it, it goes to another Wall Street Journal article. And continue reading your article with a Wall Street Journal subscription.
Yeah, it's $1, Nee.
I ain't doing it.
It's $1.
This article says...
Pay you cheap.
Nurse shortage pushes hospitals into the gig economy. Apps lure workers to open shifts with higher pay, shorter hours. This was April 18th, 2023. So just so y'all know, like the jig is up, right?
The jig is up.
The ball is moving, right? So I just found it really fascinating. I was like, I want to get your opinions, not because of obviously locums, the concept of locums, but the fact that this has gotten picked up by the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
It's just very fascinating because I just think that more and more people, particularly, what's going to happen? It's going to be more and more younger physicians who go into this.
That's
particularly the residents who are finishing. They're going to be like, you know what? I'm going to do locums for a while.
Yep. And that was my trajectory. That was your trajectory. I'll just do locums for a while and figure out what I want to do. And then if locums is something that is a desirable enough lifestyle, people will be like, you know what? I'm just going to keep doing this. So, yeah.
One of the physicians said, after doing locums, I don't think I could do anything else now.
That's me.
They said this person earns up to 1.5 to 2 times what traditional ER docs make. Damn! So, it's just that, and that's why I tell people, when people ask, they're like, well, don't you want to be in a single place and work at a place instead of like having a book
stability
of a whole bunch of, logins and passwords, and you have to travel this. And, I think that there are a bunch of pros of locums. There are some cons, but I think based off of the lifestyle that we want, locums works the best for us.
Yeah.
And we've been doing it, or at least I've been doing it for 100% for several years now. And if I don't have to go back to just being employed or to the traditional way, I won't. I really enjoy this way. It allows me to, it allows me to just kind of feel fulfilled for surgery. But also at the same time, I feel like I have that ability to deplug and be involved in the family and be a part of the family unit without feeling like I am, teetering to one side more so than the other side.
That competition.
I feel like I'm balanced in this situation.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think this is as close to work-life balance, that we have gotten, is with doing locums, because I just don't know that having an employed job, working potentially 6 days a week, potentially working 12-hour days very consistently, would lend me to the life that I want. We put a post up yesterday with you and the boys walking, and talked about, paying off our loans and how that allows you to take your kids to school, pick them up from school, and, do that on a consistent basis. And someone asked, who I don't think she's in medicine, but she was asking, how does paying off your student loans, afford you that, luxury to be able to do that? And so I was, I ended up going on and explaining to her in a comment that basically getting rid of that huge loan payment that we would have had to pay for 25, 30 years, it freed up our money, yes, allowed us to invest more, yes, but it also gave us the feeling that we didn't just have to take any job. Like, I don't have to take this job because I got this this much in student loans to pay.
Yeah, on a monthly basis.
Right.
There's not a bill that's coming on a monthly basis that is $3,000.
Exactly.
That doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly.
So,
it doesn't.
And
so
that takes a huge load off of you on a daily basis. You're not worrying about, how am I going to make this payment?
Exactly. And that's an expense that, for the most part, you can't actually control, right? Whereas your other expenses, you can. You can decide, do I want to be in a luxury home? Do I want to be in an apartment? How much in electricity am I going to be paying? And, what cost of living area am I going to live in?
Right.
You can control the rest of those expenses, right? And then it also allowed us to realize that, we could live in a low cost of living area if we wanted to. Our expenses could be low, and therefore we didn't need to actually work as much as we would have been working as employed docs, which then allowed us to be entrepreneurs and contract ourselves out. And once you contract yourself out, you make your own schedule, which means if I want to walk my kid to school and pick him up from school every day, I can do that because I make my schedule and not the other way around. So, I think the Wall Street Journal is late to the game, but I'm glad that they are putting this out, because maybe it will give more validity. People need that credibility. People need to hear from a credible source that locums is actually a very sustainable lifestyle.
Have you finished opining?
Yeah.
All right. Alfred, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. If you're looking for a podcast that moves the health conversation outside of the box, then I highly recommend Healthy Conversations, the acclaimed podcast from CVS Health. Hosted by Dr. Daniel Kraft, the Harvard and Stanford-trained physician scientist, Healthy Conversations provides cutting-edge information about the forefront of medical practice. On each episode, Dr. Kraft sits down for one-on-one interviews with doctors and tech innovators who are transforming healthcare to address some of the most pressing issues. If you're looking for entrepreneurial inspiration, then I recommend their episode on how the NHS evolved to support physician entrepreneurs. This is where Dr. Kraft interviews Dr. Tony Young of England's National Health Service on medical innovation. Or listen to their recent conversation on neurodiversity with legendary animal behaviorist and autism advocate Temple Grandin. So look, don't miss out. Listen to Healthy Conversations from CVS Health. It's available for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to this podcast. Link is in the show notes. All right, y'all, we are back. Listen, Renee's finished opining. I just got to say something real quick. All right, so we put out a post, or actually not even put out a post. The 2 episodes ago, we were talking about dating. Someone asked us a question. If I'm dating someone for a year, how do I bring up that I might be leaving after year 4, right, to a different place? We have put this out on social media, and the comments.
Relationships are a big topic.
So all I said was I don't think that it's a red flag if you date someone for a year, possibly a little bit more, and that you don't bring up the concept of having to leave after your 4th year of medical school. And apparently, like...
You got canceled.
All the women got a problem with this.
You got canceled.
And I'm just thinking to myself, why are y'all so serious
you got canceled.
in your relationships? Like, do y'all really go into relationships like, I want to get married the first day?
No, stop, Nee. Stop. Ain't nobody said that. That is a lie,
Let me clarify my point. I am taking the executive privilege. This is my show. I want to express myself. I want to say what I want to say.
Express yourself.
Guys, I am not saying that if you're in medical school that you're dating someone, you know, that you just casually date and you're like dating other people. I'm not saying that for this situation. I am saying that you can date someone for a year, and I think that it's not far-fetched that during that year that you don't bring up like, hey, like 4th year I'm leaving. You're just dating and getting to know someone. You're not seeing other people, and I think that's the sentiment that these people are saying.
No.
Is, oh, like, how can you, hold on, let me read you one of the comments. Hold on, let me read you one of the comments.
Oh, Lord.
Hold on, where's it at? Like, someone is talking about literally mentioning this like on a first date. Like, what? Why?
No, somebody said something about a second date.
Like, come on. Like, that, guys, look, first of all, a lot of this show is comedy style. We be having fun.
First of all...
But some of this comments, though, I think is a little like, ladies, y'all need to chill. Y'all going into these relationships trying to hem guys up already. And it's just like, come on, yo. Like, we dating for a year. Like, I don't have to get that serious with you and tell you, okay, at the end of my 4th year, I am going to this place. Listen. Let me get to know you first.
Okay.
That may take more than a year.
Okay. First of all, Nee,
Damn.
You gaslighting people on purpose.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. Because I know you. There's a certain look that you get to your face that I know you literally are just trying to mess with people. So to Nancy, I want to say I apologize to you because Nee was totally messing with you in those comments.
Okay, let's see what she said. She said, did you say question mark only been dating for a year? That's a long time in the dating world. What? How is dating... If you're not talking about your future plans, then what are you talking about? 1 year is a whole 12 months. Y'all talking for 365, possibly 366 days, and no future plans mentioned. See, now she's talking about leap years, right? Nah, son, right? Hold on. She says, I agree with Renee. We are talking for 1 whole year, and you're putting it on me to look up what you do and how it works. So, guys, for the record, I wrote to her and said that you can look up
Okay, you know what? No, that's dumb, Nee. Shut up. That's
right.
dumb. That's dumb.
But this is what I'm talking about,
That's
right?
dumb.
That's an easy combo to have.
Now you messing with people, telling them they need to go to ChatGPT to ask.
I think.
No, Nee. No. Yeah.
I think
now
that...
you're just messing with people. Don't listen to him. He's just messing with people. So, anyway, the point, I think, was not that women are going in trying to hem someone up. That's not the point. The point is if we are having a relationship and
Here we go, guys. She's going to get on her. Go ahead.
If we are having a relationship and we are consistently talking, which I'm assuming that is the case, that we are consistently talking, that it would not be out of the realm of possibilities.
And we're not living together, too.
Oh, my God.
Because, you know, like, it's like we don't live together. Like, you go to your spot, I go to my spot. You do a 24-hour call, so you're not in this person's presence for 24 hours. They acting like you living together. Like, come on.
When do you do a 24-hour call when you're in your second year or first year? Okay. So, anyway.
It's possible.
Nee, stop. Okay? That is not most people's... Listen, we're not talking about what's possible, okay? We're talking about what typically is.
So hold on a second. So you mean to tell me that there's no possibility of you starting working one day and coming back the next day?
I just said, we're not talking about what's possible. We're talking about what typically is.
So there's no overnight shifts?
What typically... In your first year, you took an overnight shift?
Yes.
When, Nee? What rotation did you have in your first year? What rotation?
We did an episode where we talked about at night, there's an intern at night who's taking consults, and then the second year goes, what are you talking about?
We're talking about med students, Nee, not residents. Oh.
Oh, I mean...
Womp, 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 womp.
Either way, it's the same thing.
Okay, thank you. So anyway, we're talking about medical students, Nee, and Jesus. What we're saying is that after a year, within that year, if you're having consistent conversations, that yes, it is not out of the realm of possibilities for you to be talking about what this thing called medical school looks like. Okay. I'm sorry, but I just don't think that that's out of the realm of possibilities. If I'm dating somebody that...
But is it a red flag, though, if it doesn't come up?
I think it is a red flag. And I will tell you why. It's not so much that, oh, you didn't tell me that you're going to a different state. For me, that's not actually the red flag. You know what the red flag is? The red flag is that y'all didn't talk enough to even know that. That's what the red flag is. It's like, so what are you talking about? Like,
here's another comment from Kofi's, and we're going to have to end this. Kofi says, now you quiet. Okay, Renee. Actually, I encourage people to talk about their plans on date 2. So no one's time is wasted.
Okay.
On date 2.
Okay, so
Hold on. Then someone puts facts. Fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji. Date 2? What?
Okay,
Someone said the most honorable thing to do is not to string someone's daughter or son along. Know yourself first. Date someone who knows himself well. Please, from day one, ask questions. And come on.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
By day 2, we trying to figure out, are you going to pay? Right? We talk about personal finance. I'm tired of paying for you. Shouldn't you pay half? And now I'm telling you about my plans? No.
So, okay.
Come on, yo. I could not date back. Oh, my God.
I'm going to agree with you. I don't think you need to tell someone your entire life's plan by day 2. I really don't. First of all, if you're telling me your entire life's plan by day 2, I think actually that's a red flag. I do. I do think that that's a red flag because I'm like, dude, like, we're just having coffee. Like, it's not that big a deal. You know, like I'm not trying to go home and meet your mother. And you're definitely not coming home to meet my family. So after date 2, like that's not happening. No. So there I will agree with you. I'll agree with you there. But for a whole year, the red flag isn't that you didn't tell this person. It's that you didn't have enough conversation so that would even come up. That is what the red flag is. That's what I mean by red flag. You understand what I'm saying? So what if
by year 1.5 is like, you know what? I forgot to tell you. You know, like, I'm about to be out.
Whatever,
I'm going to be out in 3 years. If we survive, all this stuff, me doing rotations, sub-eyes and all that
Whatever.
Stuff.
No, I think it's a red flag because it just speaks to the level of, depth of your relationship at the end of 1 year.
Why are y'all so triggered so much, though? Oh, my goodness.
And no, you were definitely triggered.
I was not triggered.
About fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji, fire in the hole.
Y'all, what y'all think? I'm looking for more comments. Text us at 833-230-2860. All right, y'all. It is 3 o'clock. We have got to end the show. I got to pick up my son from school. The best part of my day. I don't want to miss that. So, y'all, we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Text us what you think at 833-230-2860. And also remember to like and subscribe to the show on YouTube. And then if you're on the audio experience, share this episode with someone. You know, we always love that. We always appreciate that.
Yep.
Catch you on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.